Hey, I'm Jade Keogh.
And hello from me too, I'm Grace Seeley.
We both play for the Millwall Lionesses and are sponsored by the No One Likes Us talking team.
Why not sponsor one of our teammates just like they do?
To find out how, just email
kwebster@millwallcommunity.org.uk.
I'll say that again.
kwebster@millwallcommunity.org.uk.
In your email, say who you want to sponsor and we'll get back to you with the sponsorship details and what to do next.
This is all you have to do and it will help us to get back to where we belong. Thank you, guys.
Now, enjoy our Millwall fan show from No One Likes Us talking team.
Come on, Mir.
Hi, Bethany Warren here, and you've joined us for the weekly Our Millwall fan show with the Millwall No One Likes Us talking team, which is broadcast every Friday evening. Enjoy!
So, a frustrating Easter weekend in the end, but it's still in our hands. I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Ted Robinson, Patricia Maslin and Dave Hart.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
Evening, Ted, Dave and Pat, how are you?
Good evening, Miles. We're fine.
Very good.
So, Ted, talk to us about Luton on Friday.
Oh dear, what can we say about Luton apart from the fact that I will say one thing. I was quite impressed with Luton. They was a better team than I'd give them credit for. They was a big, physical, strong side, but I've got to be honest. I thought we was a little bit certainly unlucky not to have a penalty, at least one. I mean, how the referee didn't see some of the things that was going on with Jake Cooper, and I know it's an old thing to talk about because it seems to happen every game. I see him rugby tackled at West Brom and not get a penalty, but it's becoming quite tiresome that we don't seem to get anything from that. But it was always going to be a tough game, and that's exactly how it proved. I thought it was a fair result, a draw. I mean, I don't think we did enough to win, but then I don't think they did. It wasn't a game of many chances, but there was one incident with Tom Bradshaw talking about penalties that if he'd have gone down, I think he'd have got a penalty. And whereas, he was tugged back when he was going through and it affected him and he couldn't get his shot off quick enough. And again, it's that sort of thing that the referee didn't see that and it should have been a penalty there. But it's frustrating at the moment. The lack of goals is the obvious thing that everybody will point to and say is we've got to be sorted out. But I don't think we're far away. We are creating a few chances, but Luton was a frustrating game. But at that point in the weekend, to take a point was better than not taking any points. So, we move on to the next game as we did, which was Hull.
Brilliant, thank you, mate. Pat, talk to us about Hull, that frustrating 1-0 defeat.
I think a lot of people thought it was 3 points in the bag. I mean, not to even get a point from it was really disappointing. 4 games without a goal. It's not looking like a playoff team to me. I think we were a bit unlucky. 22 shots, but not one going in. I didn't think Burke played well. I think he should have come off. I think Eze needs to start there. I mean, admitted their goalkeeper was absolutely brilliant on the day, that Cole Darlow. But again, he's part of the team. You can't say we didn't win because of their keeper. The keeper's part of the team. So obviously they were superior to us on the day. To me, Rowett seems to play a system and then fits the players into that system. I mean, it's just playing players out of position to me. Also, with Leonard and Creswell both out injured, 2 players that are really on form at the moment. We're unlucky in that respect. But there are players there who had shots who really should have put them away, including Mitchell and McNamara. Disappointing day all round, really. I don't think there's anything good to take from that at all.
No, Apparently, I saw Burke came quite close though to scoring. I think it was just off the line. I think it was.
Yeah, he
Coming
hit the
close doesn't
underside
get
of
you
the
any.
bar. Sorry, Pat. I say he hit the underside
Yeah,
of the bar was unlucky. I mean, I think
you know,
he was watching
okay,
it. We all
but the rest of the game, you know, he should have been taken off. You know, coming close, hitting the post, it just, you know, they might all be a mile wide. It means nothing.
You mentioned being out of
We're
position.
lacking that.
Who's out of position?
Well, I think he plays Honeyman out of position, and I think he's playing like 3 centre mids a lot of the time, 4 at the back. I mean, it's a very very defensive setup.
Yeah,
Um,
it is a bit of a
I don't
defence.
know. I think also at the moment Fleming's being marked out the game. I think Warnock worked it out really well, and I think since then it's been spotted, and they're just marking him out the game. I think he's getting frustrated. People saying he's getting lazy and that. I don't think it's that. I think it's frustration. He's just getting marked out of each game.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
Sorry, Miles. I was going to say. I mean, you do make a point. I actually said at half time at home against Luton that I thought he should go to a back three again, bring Scott Malone on, who, when he was playing in that system or the system we had there, he was our top assist player because he does get a good ball in normally with his crosses and whatever. And on the Luton game, I would have pushed Burke up alongside Bradshaw, because poor old Bradshaw does a lot of running all on his own. And I thought they were susceptible
Exactly.
to a ball. They were susceptible to a ball over the top of them at Luton. And Burke has got the most pace out of anybody in our team. And I just thought it may be time to do something different, because what you're quite right in pointing out there, Pat, is I think people have worked out how to play against us. They certainly know how to try and stop Jake Cooper getting anywhere near the ball for many of the free kicks that we have, but also in the open play, I think people have started to work out the formation that we've been playing and how to stop us. So if that's the case, then you have to change the formation you've got. Do something different. Don't just keep putting players in the same holes. Change the formation. Do something different.
To realise
Catch them off guard. It's been getting a little bit too comfortable for the teams or the opposition that we're playing in stopping us from playing.
Yeah, I totally agree there. Dave, we'll bring you into this one. Discuss how we are still in the hunt for playoff positions despite this poor run of form.
Well, it's the same old story with this sort of run-in where you get teams that they actually hit a run, like Preston, who we've got on Saturday. I think they've won 6 out of their last 7 games. So they're on a roll. Blackburn, they're sitting on the same points as us. They've got a game in hand on us. So, but everyone plays each other. I mean, Preston, they got to play us, obviously, Saturday. They're also at home to Blackburn the week after, I think. So it's all in everyone's hands. You know, you can pick up points and you can drop points. I mean, from our last 7 games, we've only picked up 8 points. So we've actually dropped 13 points, but we're 5th. So it's one of those mysteries of the world, how these things work out. And I personally think it's going to go right down to the wire. It's going to be another Bristol Rovers, and Hutchinson's going to get the winner against Blackburn, and we'll be in the playoffs.
Well, what a story that would be.
And he woke up.
Before we listen to Debbie Julians, here is Paul Owens from Fisher FC.
Hi, I'm Paul, a Millwall and Fisher FC supporter. There's always been strong links between our clubs, and as such, Fisher FC would like to remind Millwall season ticket holders and supporters club members that entry to watch Fisher is just a £5 if you show your card at the gate.
Lovely touch there from Fisher. We'll take a break there and be back with our first guest this evening. But for now, let's listen to Debbie Julians talking about our sponsors, G&M Motors.
Our Millwall Fan Show is sponsored by family business G&M Motors of Gravesend and Meopham in Kent. They are Millwall fans too. They've been Honda dealers for over 50 years. At G&M Motors Gravesend, you can purchase a new Honda. At both Gravesend and Meopham, they have a combined range of over 150 quality used cars and ex-demonstrators to suit all budgets and lifestyles. They also offer a comprehensive range of repair and maintenance services to ensure your vehicle stays reliable, safe, and retains a higher value with trust. G&M Motors, Gravesend and Meopham are dear friends of the Julians family. From Lenny to Debbie, and also our Millwall fan show.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Ted Robinson, Patricia Maslin and Dave Hart. This ex-Lion joined the Lions as part of the Millwall youth team in 2004 at the age of 8, and he went on to captain the Millwall youth team. He turned professional in August 2014, making his first team debut on the 28th of December 2014 against Bournemouth. He went on to play another 14 times that season. Unfortunately, the season finished with the Lions being relegated back to Division 1. He went on to play a further 12 times for the Lions, and he was an unused sub on numerous occasions. He went out on loan whilst with the Lions to Newport, Yeovil, Chesterfield, Swindon Town and Tranmere Rovers before finally signing for Tranmere in August 2019. A spell at Northampton, followed by a signing for Woking in 2022. Welcome to the show, Sid Nelson. Hello, Sid. How are you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, Sid.
Yeah, very well, thank you. How is everyone?
Good evening, Sid.
Yeah, good.
Good evening.
Before I hand you over to tonight's panellists, I am interested to learn how you got signed by the Lions at the age of 8.
Yeah, so obviously just playing locally. I was signed up to Villa Court as a kid, and it just got signed. I had the option to go to Arsenal or Chelsea beforehand. I think my dad said I was too young. And then obviously Millwall come about and he just jumped at the chance. And it went from there, really.
Hello, can you hear me, Sid?
I can hear you, mate, yeah.
Can you hear? Hello, mate, it's Ted here. Sid, you played 26 times for the Lions. What was your biggest highlight when playing for the Lions? I know you're a Millwall fan yourself, so what was the biggest highlight of playing for the Lions?
Obviously, I had a few. Obviously, making your debut, being captain, obviously that's something that will stay with me to the rest of my life. But I think, for me, it was the game against Charlton where we won 2-1 at the Den. We scored 8, the biggest highlight of them all, and that's one memory that lives fondly with me. Yeah, so the biggest highlight for me playing for Millwall, obviously, is your debut. There was the game where I was captain, but for me, the most standout game was the game against Charlton where we won 2-1 at the Den. We was in the relegation zone at the time, obviously South London derby, and I think we scored in the 89th and 90th minute to turn it round.
Okay. Hi, Sid. It's Pat here. Injuries have blighted your career recently. I can imagine that's been frustrating for you. How have you coped with that?
It's been really hard for me, especially in the last 2 years. I signed at Northampton not last summer, the summer before, thinking off the back of a 2-3 month injury, thinking, right, I'm going to get going again. I've just signed for a team that's looking to get promotion back into League One, and that's sort of a level that I was content with myself at. Then I got an ACL injury that left me out for the whole season. Then this season, I went to Woking thinking, right, this right the last 12 months off and go from there again. And then I found out I've got other things. It's been so hard to cope with mentally, but I think you just got to be strong-minded and strong-willed and know that there's always a chance to get back playing the thing that you love doing, which is football.
Hello, Sid. It's Dave here.
Hello, Dave.
I'm very good, thanks, mate. You was at the Den on Friday to watch the Lions. What do you make of the current squad that we've got? And do you think the team has got enough to hold on to that playoff place?
Yeah, so obviously, went to the game. It's a massive game, and I think with the situation we're in at the moment, really, in terms of championship going for the playoffs. I think the game on Friday, it was just both teams looking like not wanting to lose, rather than two teams going out trying to win. And I thought that's why it turned out to be a stalemate 0-0. But yeah, I do think we've got enough. I think we've got to this situation in the season with so little games left for a reason. And I know the last 4 or 5 results, we haven't scored a goal and stuff like that. But look, we're here for a reason, and anything can happen, especially knowing that it's going to go down to the wire. So yeah, I do think we have enough.
Yeah, I think you summed that up perfectly.
I said it's Ted again. I'm just, you're obviously a Millwall fan, and you've done what we've all dreamt of doing, being out there and playing. And as a young man, you got into the team and being in the first team, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Holloway decides to give you the captain's armband. I'm sure that made you the proudest man on earth. But how did it actually feel, and how did it come about with Ian Holloway giving you the captain's armband?
Well, I think it come about with so I think that was the first season that I broke into the team, and I know I only broke into the team I think 2 weeks beforehand, but I think that was it's a tough one to explain, really, because on my terms, the way I was training and the way I was as a kid, I had no fear. So I was on the training pitch, and I was shouting at the older players. I was getting shouted back, and I was doing things kids sort of don't do at that age, if you know what I mean. So I feel in a situation where the team's struggling to get going, this, that, the other. I think he done it in a way where it was like, right, everyone get behind this team. We've got a Millwall local lad being our captain today. Which, when I look back on it, it is quite unfair in a certain way. However, from my point of view, the way I was trained at the time, yeah, why not? Why not? I was ready to go out there and give it me all. I was ready to do things that other players weren't.
I was just saying, was you always a captain, like through the youth teams and all that?
Yeah, so literally from under 8s all the way up. I got to 17, and I was the under 23s captain. So that it didn't change me in a certain way, and I didn't play differently or anything like that because I had the armband on. But one thing it did do was draw more eyes to me, and obviously as an 18-year-old playing in a relegation scrap at the Den against Ipswich, I think there was a really big crowd there as well that day. It does draw more eyes onto you. So yeah, people can look at it how they want, but for me, at that time I thought, yeah, why not? I did deserve it. But when you look back on it, the young kid, 18, getting thrown.
Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of resentment out of the older players.
Yeah, so I remember it come about. I didn't know until 1:30, until the boys got in. So we was in the dressing room, and Holloway was standing in the centre, and all the boys were sitting on their pegs, and he was holding the captain's armband. And obviously, I'm sitting next to David Forde, and he's in the team, Dunny in the team. You got all these senior pros that I look up to and respect, and he handed me the armband, and it was a like, whoa, like what's going on here sort of moment. And a funny thing is, I remember when I sat in the toilet for 5 minutes by myself, I was just shocked. I literally shut the door and just sat in there, just thinking, what's going on here? But it's a memory that will live fondly with me forever.
Yeah. It's Pat again. Not Millwall centric, but who's been the biggest influence on your career, would you say?
Ooh. as a kid growing up, going to watch all the games, definitely Paul Robinson. He was like me, the player I wanted to be, the player I wanted to emulate. And obviously when I started getting to like 15, 16 and that sort of stage, obviously that goes, you have to start concentrating on yourself and the people you're around. But yeah, I'd say Paul Robinson. I'll just up until that age 16 sort of bracket. He was the player I wanted to be like. He was the one when I used to go down the den and watch the games. He was the one I was watching all the time, every movement, every pattern, every pass, and yeah, Paul Robinson.
Good answer.
I said it's Dave again. From your time at when you're playing for Millwall, are you in touch with any of the old players at that time?
What, as in now? Am I in touch with him now?
Yeah, now. Do you still speak to some of that team?
Yeah, yes. I still speak to a few of the lads. So like Byron Webster, probably the most out of the senior boys at that time. He's at Bromley now, and he lives around the corner from me. We've got quite a close relationship. But in terms of quite the other boys, you hear every now and again from them. I think that's one thing with Millwall that's different to other clubs that I've been at, is that you do stand more than you do at other clubs. I don't know why. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I do speak to all the boys all the time.
Well, what about Dunny? Do you speak to Dunny?
Yeah, I see Dunny every now and again as well. See, he's down at Bromley. He's doing well down there. He's a assistant manager. Yeah, and he's doing really well down there as well. But his armband.
I said, is he forgiving you for taking the captain's armband?
Oh yeah, he forgives me. I'll give it back to him though, and it didn't fit him after that.
What about playing in front of David Forde, Sid? I should imagine that was a bit of an experience, wasn't it?
Yeah, David Forde. He was the one man in football, and even to this day that I feared the most. Obviously, first and foremost, it comes down to respect. But just his presence and just him being there, honestly, it was so nervous to play in front of him, even in training and stuff like that. Like, you couldn't make one mistake, or you couldn't do one thing out of line, because he'd be the first one on you. And it just come back to me then. I remember we was travelling up to Bolton on the train, and as the boys were all getting on the train, obviously we're on like first class, so you all got your own seats already planned out. So everyone's got a seat themselves. And I've sat down, and Fordy's got on, and because I sat down before Fordy, he grabbed me, literally picked me up from my 2 feet, and I can't say the words out loud, and said, "Right, I'm a more senior pro than you," and threw me. He went and sat down. He went, "Right, now you can sit back down." Just things like that. But like, I feel like, especially all the boys that come through at that time with players like that around, think it's held us in good stead. Because it's a respect thing at the end of the day, and if you ain't got people like that around you, then you can get too big for your boots, especially the few of us that was playing at such a young age.
Did he ever give you a ticking off on the pitch?
Yes, he did.
How many times?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but I think we had he's kicked the ball to the back of my head. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So he's come out and claimed the ball, and obviously as the defence we're running up, and he's gone and half volleyed it, and he's half volleyed it from about 10 yards into the back of my head. It's knocked me over. The ball's gone on about 20 seconds. Well, about 20 seconds later, the ball's gone out. So I've turned around to Fordy on the halfway line, bearing in mind the ball's at the other end of the pitch. Put my arm back, I'm Fordy, like, what are you doing? Like, no sorry or nothing. He literally run from his goal box up to the halfway line, grabbed me by my throat, and said, "Put your arms down. Don't make me look like a..." If you get where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I was going to say that. It could have been his fault, although you had your back to the ball and everything. He's kicked in here, you, and it was your fault.
But again, I've never done that again. Every time I played, even if someone made a mistake or someone done something to get me hurt or whatever, I wouldn't put my arms up because of that moment. So you learn from things like that.
You learn. Yeah.
You learn.
I suppose in his Irish accent, he would have made it a bit worse as well.
Well, half the time I didn't know what he was going on about, so
I suppose in his Irish accent, it would have made it that tad worse, right?
Yeah, so obviously he had a really deep Irish accent, but obviously he had a proper manly voice. So when he told you something or when he gave you a rollicking, you knew about it. And at the end of the day, it just come down to respect thing, like I keep going on about. I feel like with all the old senior pros that play that sort of time era, I feel like they've done so much for the young lads, especially me. So I've got massive credit to them all, really, because they did help me along the way.
You never had to share a room with Forde then, Sid?
No, he was a man that shared a room by himself.
Wow. Never Morrison.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to share a room with him.
Well, there's never enough time to get all of our questions in, but before I let you go, Sid, as you know, it's a tradition on the show for our guests to give a score prediction ahead of our next game. When we have our next home fixture against Preston North End on Saturday, what do you think?
I think we're going to come out all guns blazing. Everyone keeps looking at this little stat that we ain't scored in 4 games, and it's all getting tighter. But I'm going to go for a 3-0 Millwall win.
What?
And I'm going to go with Jake Cooper for the first goal.
Love it. Well, thanks very much, Sid, for coming onto the show. It's been brilliant to talk with you once again, and there is still so much more to explore. All the best to you and your family. Hopefully, we can get you back for some more in the not too distant future.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks for everyone.
Thank you, mate. Bye bye.
Have a good evening.
Cheers.
Have a good
Cheers,
evening.
Sid. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
mate.
Bye, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.
Now then, let's listen to Bethany Warren talking about the Millwall fan programme.
Hi, Bethany here. Want a matchday programme? You'll find them with sellers outside the ground by the gates at Zampa Road, Stockholm Road and Senegal Road. They cost £1 and the sellers ask if you can have the right money, as change will be difficult. If you want to get a message, photos of special events, memorials, or just ones for good luck to be included, email smprogram@protonmail.com. That is smprogramme@protonmail.com. It's a great read.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the Noel Access Talking team of Ted Robinson, Patricia Maslin and Dave Hart. Now then, let's listen from Ellis Barr.
Ellis here. Thank you for watching my videos. Now to hear what the Millwall Lionesses and Romans have been up to, and to hear who is next up for Gary Rowett and the Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Thanks, Ellis. Well, the Lionesses, the Romans and the Pride had the Easter weekend off, although Jeff did fill in a report on the Lionesses and look into their next one against Ebbsfleet.
Millwall Lionesses are aiming to continue their recent good form when they go to league leaders Ebbsfleet United on Sunday at 2 p.m. at their main stadium. Ebbsfleet look to be closing in on promotion to the National League, while Millwall look likely to finish no lower than third in this London and South East Regional Women's League tie. They had a behind closed doors friendly on Easter Monday to keep up their fitness levels, and but away to the top of the league is as big a challenge as the Lionesses will have during the rest of this season. It's Community Day at Millwall this weekend, this Saturday, and the Lionesses and their under-18s and various younger teams will be there with bucket collections, and I hope everybody will be able to support them on our road back to where we want Millwall Lionesses to be in the scheme of things for women's football. The under-18s, meanwhile, are due to have a game against Worthing. They're a rival for the title in their Junior Premier League, and they will then be on their way to the Den to join that bucket collection. Next Sunday is the first of 2 Sundays running where they're in cup finals. So we wish them well in both of those.
Thanks, Jeff. Now then, we move on to the first team and the intriguing clash with in-form Preston North End. So, with no goals in 4 and only 2 points from 12, we're hanging on to a playoff spot due to having a better goal difference than Blackburn and Saturday's opponents Preston, who are unbeaten, by the way, in 11 games and seem to be the team that are currently making the late run into the playoffs. The Lions seem to be having their bad run of form just at the wrong time. However, is this match against Preston the perfect game to turn the current form around and get back to winning ways? Ted, what are your thoughts?
I think it is, Miles. We've heard Sid say a 3-0 victory, and I don't think he's going to be far off. This is the sort of game that, as a Millwall fan and a Millwall team, tend to thrive on. As you quite rightly say, Preston probably the form side in our division at the moment. We haven't been playing well. Something has to turn and something has to change. And I think it could well be on Saturday. Because don't forget, when we played Preston away from home, to all our surprise, I think, we actually scored 4 against Preston. The only time this season we've scored 4. And I'm hoping it's not going to be the last, because it might be 4 again this Saturday. But obviously they're on a good run. They're going to be a tough nut to crack, like any championship side are down here. But I would have been, after Monday, like Pat mentioned, I think we had 20-odd shots on goal. We did have a few chances, and we should have scored. Danny McNamara missed a real good chance. There was Burke's one that hit the bar. There was another couple of shots at Billy Mitchell where he certainly should have hit the target. And then there was Fleming at the end, as well as Volkshammer. So if we hadn't been creating chances, I would have been a bit more dubious about us breaking this run. But we are in these games, and we're with a bit of luck here or there, regardless of what anyone says. Every football team needs a bit of luck. We could have won one of the last 2 games. Let's hope that luck comes our way against Preston. We get our noses in front early. I think we could well finish up with a 3-0. So I'm going to go with Sid. I'm going to go for a 3-0 home victory.
You're going to stick with Sid there as well and say Jake Cooper is going to get the first goal?
No. He'd get brought down or something like that. No, I think Ollie Burke is due a goal. He's been a bit unlucky. So I know Pat was saying he should have been taken off, whatever. But I think if he starts, it all comes down to the team selection again, obviously. I mean, I've been batting on earlier about saying he should change the formation. Unfortunately, I think Gary's a creature of habit, and he'll certainly start with the same sort of 11. But someone who has been due a goal is Fleming. So I think Zion Fleming to get the first goal.
Pat, what are your thoughts?
Everyone seems to think
Totally
it's going to be so easy. Sorry?
They'll be totally different to mine, I should imagine, Pat.
Well, everyone seems to be so confident with this 3-0. They're the team on form at the moment. There's always that team that sneaks up towards the end of the season, comes on a good run, and that's going to be Preston, obviously. I mean, this Tom Cannon they got on loan is dynamite. I mean, how do they get hold of players like that? I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. I mean, you've got that Head and Heart thing again. Head says a board draw again, 0-0. Heart says 1-0 win. I don't know. He does need to change the team up. He's got Bennett and Bury back, hasn't he? He said they're in the running for Saturday. We could change the team up. Hopefully Honeyman's fit again. I know he had a hamstring injury, didn't he? I don't know. I think it's all up in the air. I do think we'll struggle, but I'll go with a 1-0 win.
Did you not say, Pat, earlier that you'd like to see SA playing?
Yeah. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like
Yeah.
to see him get more than 15 minutes?
Well, I do think he is, the last few games, he's the bright spark, to be
so
quite
full
honest.
of confidence. Whether that...
Yeah,
I think the youth in him, he's not afraid of anyone. He came on, and the first couple of touches against Luton, he was round the back of them and doing decent crosses.
Well, the only reason I say that is because if you bring Bennett and Bury back into the squad, let's say, then some people have got to drop out. I certainly would not drop out SA.
No.
No, I would. I think he's absolute quality. I really do.
I do. I mean, as I say, I don't know whether that's his youth being not scared of like the Championship or whether he is that good. So yeah, let's play him. Let's watch what he can do. I mean, we're not going to get into the playoffs on the strength of a 17-year-old, are we? But he certainly adds something to the squad.
I just can't believe someone my age is playing in the Millwall squad. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts. Pat was saying about this Tom Cannon at Preston that they got on loan, but the person that's been feeding him all the balls is Ched Evans, and Ched Evans is now out for the rest of the season. So hopefully this will be the break in the momentum that Preston have got, and I think that this will be the start of our running. I honestly believe that, and I've said it. Everyone that talks to me about, I'll keep on saying it. This is going to be our running, and we should nail our position. And I'm going to go for a 2-0.
Dave, you know who Ched Evans' replacement is?
No, go on.
Troy Parrott.
Oh, well, we know how he plays. We're just feeding him some birdseed.
He's been in there. But you're right, Dave, because Preston struggled to beat Reading last week, and Reading are a poor side at the moment. So, yes, they've been on good form, but I wasn't overly impressed with them against Reading. Reading were a bit unlucky not to get something out of that game. So their run of form has to come to an end somewhere. And, they
normally do, Ted.
It's got to finish somewhere, and why not Saturday? And they may well, and we'll see what happens and develops, but Preston may well have peaked a bit too early.
Yeah, as I say, Preston have got some pretty tough games to come up. Swansea away, Blackburn at home, Sheffield United away, and their last game is Sunderland at home.
Yeah, and by the way, Blackburn's game in hand is Burnley away.
Oh, well, there you go. Hopefully that'll go the way it normally goes.
Well, we'll have to get
you've still got teams right. You've still got the teams right down to Coventry who can overtake us, haven't you?
Well, Norwich are still there.
Yeah, Norwich, West Brom, they're all in the running still.
And Norwich are playing quite a few teams. I think they've got Blackburn. I think they've got Preston. I think it was. But I know I was looking, and Norwich have got Sheffield United. They've got quite a difficult, on paper, running, playing sides around us, Norwich. And again, they haven't been overly impressive. They got 0-0 draw with Rotherham. The best thing about the weekend on Monday was the fact that we could have been a lot worse off. But other teams seem to be, on the day, get as a poor result as we got. Everybody feels that pressure at this time of year. But like Dave was just saying there, you've got 5 games to go. If you can win 3 and maybe draw 1, you're going to be in the playoffs out of any of that lot, without a doubt.
So,
don't you get that feeling that we're there because we're not good, we're just better than the bad bunch?
Well, no, you think about it, Pat. If at the start of the season someone had come up to you and said, "We've got 5 games to go, we'd be fifth in the league with 3 games at home and our 2 away games would be against the bottom 2 teams," you'd have been jumping up and down, or you'd have turned around and said, "You're mad," and you're never going to find Millwall in that position. So,
Of course you would.
whilst we haven't been great,
But,
we should really be
it's very precarious,
rejoicing where
isn't
we
it?
are. Yeah, but you should be rejoicing where we are in the playoffs. Don't think about, we was poor last week and that. Let's think where we are and what we can still achieve in the next 5 games. We can't do anything about last Monday. That's gone. Let's think about the next 5 games and where we could be at the end of the season. That's the thing. And and as if people always say when you start thinking about, like, are we the best of a bad bunch or whatever? Listen, the league never lies. The best team in our division is Burnley. You can see that by a mile. But the rest of us, we're the fifth best at the moment, and hopefully by the end of the season we'll still be the fifth best.
Yeah, I think
At least.
Luton are the only team in the top 6 that really look like they mean it.
Can I get?
As I say, our game on Friday was like 2 teams that was frightened to lose. So, yeah.
Can I get a prediction from you
that
then?
was
Dave?
it.
Yeah, but I've not seen anything in the playoffs, if we do manage to get in there, whether it be Middlesbrough, Luton, Blackburn, Norwich, whoever we might play, none of them frighten me at all. We will have as good a chance as any of them if we're in there, because we are as good as any of them. Middlesbrough are beginning to falter now. Everyone thought they was going to catch Sheffield United, but all of a sudden they've lost a couple of games. You know, it's a difficult division, especially this time of year with sides down the bottom. Like I mentioned, Rotherham getting a draw at Norwich, but they're fighting for their lives to get away from the bottom, which is as compact as it is at the top, if you know what I mean. Like Pat saying, going down to Coventry. So you never get any game in this division, certainly not at this time of the season, that's going to be easy. I mean, people will look at playing the likes of QPR and thinking, that would be an easy game. Well, QPR are beginning to fight with Ainsworth, and it won't be an easy game. It's, but that's when it comes down to, you've got to, like in any game of football, you've got to go out and win it. That's probably what we wasn't, as Sid said, we was a little bit guilty of against.
Can I get a prediction from you then, Dave?
I don't think either side really wanted to win it. They just didn't want to lose it. But from here on in, sorry, Miles?
Can I get a score prediction from you then, Dave?
2-0 to us on Saturday.
Beth? We'll take a short break there now and listen to Bethany Warren talking about how to sponsor the Millwall Community Trust.
The work of the Millwall Community Trust makes a big difference for people in Lewisham, Southwark and North Kent. Times are getting tougher, and to help them make a difference, you can help too, by making a donation. Give a one-off donation or a monthly amount. Your support is crucial in raising vital funds for their work, or by fundraising for them. If you are running, swimming, cycling, cooking, dancing, parachuting or anything else, why not do it for the Millwall Community Trust? Interested? Then either email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. I'll say that again. Email inquiries@millwallcommunity.org.uk or phone 0207 740 0503. Thanks if you can.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Ted Robinson, Patricia Maslin and Dave Hart. If you can do any of those things that Bethany mentioned, it will go a long way to support the Millwall Community Trust in supporting the needs of the community. Our final guest this evening, is a friend of the show and a man that continues to do amazing work for the aforementioned Millwall Community Trust. That man is Sean Daley. I caught up with Sean earlier this week ahead of the Community Day on Saturday. Hello, Sean. It's good to talk to you. How are you?
I'm good, Miles. How are you? You good?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, mate. You joined the Community Trust in March 2018 after spending a whopping 18 years at Charlton's Community Trust as the head of football and sports development. When you first came into Millwall, what were your hopes and aspirations, and as of now, do you think you've achieved them?
Well, I came into Millwall just really as football and sports development to help develop that program. I didn't expect to become CEO. I really wanted to become a CEO, but it came very quickly for me. It's a work in progress, you know. My ambition is for Millwall to be the best community scheme we can, and hopefully to be the best community scheme within the collection of all the community schemes. So I'm a long way from where I want to be, but I'm going to keep working on that. What I have done is I've developed some good programs and developed some good partnerships. So, I'm just a work in progress at the moment. I want to be the best we can represent the club of Millwall. So that's what I'm trying to achieve. That's one of my biggest achievements I want to get in the next couple of years.
Fantastic, thank you, mate. As most Millwall fans will know, there was a very special evening in West Kingsdown with a very special man when it comes to Millwall, the one and only Mr. Neil Harris. How did that go?
Yeah, so one of the things I want to do is that, you know, I've got great support from players, like current first team players, and I've got very good support from ex-players who know how important the community trust is to the club. So it's very easy for me to be able to ring certain people up and say, could you do an event for us? The most important thing about it is the events raise money either for the trust or for organisations. So I had a captain's evening a couple of months ago where we had 5 captains come, gave their time up and talked about their journey within Millwall, and then raised funds for the trust. As everyone knows, that, you know, we've purchased a bit of land in Sevenoaks and we're going to build our new training ground there. So it was important, I thought, that we start building relationships out in West Kingsdown. So I wanted to do an event at the London Club, but raise funds for the food bank that is unbelievable out there. You know, they're looking at about 100 families a week that they serve. So it was important to get somebody that was high profile. So we phoned up Neil and said, look, Neil, could you come and do an evening for us? Be a very small evening, you know, 125 people, 130 people. Would you do it? But all the money will go to the food bank. And, you know, he loved coming to do it. It was a great evening. I think he was very taken back about how the fans were to him. You know, as he walked in, they were singing his name. But it was a great evening. You know, raised nearly £4,500 for the food bank. So it was a great evening.
Delighted to hear that. As it's Millwall's annual community day on Saturday before the Lions face Preston North End. Last year it was obviously before Barnsley, but tell us about that. About this year.
Yeah, so we've done it for the last 3 years, and it's really to showcase what we do. You know, I met someone this week who, like, and I'm miles away. I mean, I'm in Greece at the moment, and he spoke to me and he said, like, you know, what a great community club Millwall are. You know, but that's only because he's a Millwall fan, and this one is around celebrating of what we do and the partners we work with. So the day will be dedicated the whole lot to the community trust, but more about not my staff and what we do, about the partners that we work with and the programs that we work with, because it's very important about them. So what was going to happen is that we're going to have some events going on at the Community Trust from 9 o'clock, which is going to be things like walking football, like man versus fat, all different games, different matches where they're showcasing what they're doing. We'll have the fan zone that is run by our post 16. We'll have different things going on around the stadium. So we'll have stalls of all our partners. So we'll have things like the Metropolitan Police will be there, Her Game 2, Lewisham College. All the people that we work with will be there talking about how they work with Millwall. Then on the actual pitch will be the Guard of Honour will be our Girls Lionesses Academy. The mascots will be some community mascots. And then at half-time, some of our participants from different programs will walk around the pitch. The name will be changed on the shirt. So Husky will come off and it'll literally say Community Day on it. Players will warm up in community shirts as well. And we'll be giving out shirts and wristbands and all different things. But really, this is a celebration about the partners that we work with. You know, not about the trust, but about all the partners, the participants. It's their day, really, to thank them for all the support they've given us in the last year and to really showcase to the fans what a great community trust the club has.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great job that you and everybody that works for the Community Trust is doing. Of course, you mentioned the Post 16 Academy, walking football. But finally, talking of Saturday, Millwall of course face Preston and it's a tradition on the show for us to talk and to ask our guests for a prediction of the score for the upcoming games. What are your predictions?
Well, last time we had Community Day, Danny McNamara got 2 goals. Biggest score, at the Den for ages. I really would like us because it's getting very close at the moment to that playoff place. Preston are beginning to creep up. I'd love to see us win 2-1. So that's what I'm going to go for, 2-1.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming onto the show. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Miles. Speak to you.
Well, Sean, thank you very much for coming on. Of course, we all know you are in Greece, so thanks for taking your time out to speak to us. We'll take a break there and listen to Debbie Julians, who's with Harvey Brown, talking about the Lions Food Hub.
Let's hear from Harvey Brown.
Have you heard of the Lions Food Hub? That Millwall Lioness, Kelly Webster, is involved. Don't forget to help the Lions Food Hub if you can. Thank you.
As Harvey said, they need your support. If you can help, and you can make a one-off or a regular monetary donation at Banquet, that is BANKUET, you will find them online. Insert www.banquet.co.uk/Lions Food Hub into your browser. I'll say that again. www.banquet.co.uk/Lions Food Hub. And the Lions Food Hub is all one word. On match days, you can make food and toiletry donations at the Lions Food Hub, which is opposite the 1885 bar at the Cold Blow Lane end of the ground. Alternatively, you can also contact the team via the Lions Food Hub Twitter or Facebook sites.
I'm your host, Myles Thornton, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Ted Robinson, Patricia Maslin and Dave Hart. More than 2 years have passed since the Lions Food Hub came into being, which for us was a bittersweet celebration. We did not expect food hubs to become permanent. Nonetheless, Kelly and Ellen Webster, all the Hubster team, their sponsors and those that donate are making such a difference in supporting those that are at risk. You can help them if you can, as the country sadly remains in a sea of spiralling prices. Don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games both home and away for the Lions and Lionesses on Maritime Radio, broadcasting on 96.5 FM. You can also find us on their website, along with updates on the Millwall Community Matters. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr and Twitter and all other social media sites and popular podcast sites. Thank you and good night, Ted.
Good night, Miles. And can I just say, for your first attempt at hosting, you are so much better than George. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ted. Thanks and good night, Pat.
Good night. Been a nice show. Sid was very good as well.
And finally, but definitely not the least, thanks and good night, Dave.
Good night all, and thanks Miles, great job.